Hi, I'll be explaining task 1.1p, SIT232. So this question is the question regarding the microwave, which is question 5. So for this question, I've created this code and I have used a try block and a catch block for this question. And at the start of the code, there's namespace microwave, which is the start and is used to organize the code. And then there's class microwave, which is the main class that contains the main method. And then I have the try block, which contains if else conditionals. And then I have the catch block and console write line prints a message to the console. And then here the convert to int and console read line reads the input from the user as a string and then converts it to an integer. And this one here checks the item count if it is equal or lesser than 0. If it is, then it prints out the message minimum one item is required. And then if the item count is bigger than 3, then it prints the message hitting more than 3 times at once is not recommended. Otherwise, the message will be printed is please enter the single item hitting time in seconds. Then the user can input the time into the console, and then the code reads the input from the user as a string and then converts it to an integer. And if the time entered by the user is lesser than 1, then the message that will be printed to the console is the minimum heating time is 1 second, then please enter an integer greater than 0 for heating time. Otherwise, then I have this line. This declares a variable to store the recommended heating time, this double recommended time. And then if item count is equal to 2, then the recommended time is calculated as this. And if the item count is equal to 3, then recommended time is double the time given as the input from the user. Otherwise, the recommended time is the input time given by the user. Then after calculating the recommended time, the recommended time is printed to the console like this. The recommended heating time is, and then we have the recommended time calculated next to it in seconds. And this catch block catches the exception that might happen and takes care of it. And if there's an exception, the message that will be printed to the console is an unexpected error has been encountered and the exception message. The console read key waits for the user to press any key before exiting the application. So that's it for the code, and we can try running it. So so the code started running, and as you can see, the debug is on. That says start debugging. Now we can restart without debugging. I'm gonna stop debugging it. And then that shows the terminal for us. And right here, we can use restart debugging with debugging to understand what's going on within our code when it's running. So I'll stop running, then I'll start new. And it first asks how many items I'm gonna hit, and I'm gonna type in 1, and then it asks me the time in seconds. Let's say 30 seconds. And because it's one item, as said in here, the recommended time is the time inputted by the user. So then I'm gonna try again. And this time I'm going to use 2 items. Then it asks the time again, let's say 45 seconds. And then as given here, the recommended time is calculated and then printed onto the console. Then we can try 3 items, set 3 items, set 3. Then we enter the time in seconds, set 30. Then as said in here, because item count is 3, the recommended time is double the time given by the user. Then again, we can try 0. This is 0 items that's a condition given here. Item count can't be equal to 0, so it has printed this minimum 1 item is required message to the console. And then we can try over here. It says the item count. It says item count must be. If item count is bigger than 3, then it recommends that hitting items at 3 items at once is not good. Then we can try that one too. If we say 9 items, then the hitting more than 3 items at once is not recommended. Message is printed to the console. And I think we tested all. So the code seems to be working. So that's it. Thank you.